Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss about how we can create Maven Java project and make the database connectivity with MySQL server, right? So here I have already started my Eclipse in my machine, right? So now let's understand how you can create a Maven project. So to create a Maven project, just go to the file menu. In a file menu, there is a option called as a Maven project. The moment you choose the Maven project, again it will prompting to you where you want to create a Maven project. So by default, whatever your working area, whatever your workspace, that becomes a what default workspace for you. But if you want to create or if you want to add new project in somewhere else in your machine, so you just go and click on browse. Okay, but right now I'm not going to click on browse and creating a my Maven project in new folder, right? So I'm just keep it remain same and go ahead with the next steps. So click on next. So the moment you click the next, right? So by default it will given to you here internal because of I have already created some Maven project previously. But in your case, whenever you are going forward, new Maven project, so by default, it will return to you all catalogs. So all catalogs can contain all categories of Maven project, right? Okay. But if you want to create dedicated one Maven quick start project, so you go and select the internal one. So select the internal, the moment you choose the internal one, so it will display over here list of the project. So these are the project type. Now this Maven project can be defined into three parts. One is a group ID, second is a artifact ID, and third is a version, right? Okay. So now I want to create Maven Java project. So if you want to create a Maven project, Maven Java project site, so you can choose the quick start project. So select the quick start project. The moment you click the quick start project and click on next button, so it will display the information. So information such as group ID, artifact ID, right? Okay. These two informations are required to create a Maven project, right? So in industry, right? So developer can choose their own, the specification to create a artifact ID, okay, and group ID. So group IDs and artifact ID becomes what your package name. That becomes what your package name, right? Okay. So here I'm specifying the group ID as a com.maven project, right? And artifact ID is nothing but your project name. Like say for example, here I'm going to say first Maven JDBC. So this is what name of the project. So when you are going to finish the this part, it will create a project name as a first Maven JDBC, and the package name becomes a what com.maven project dot first Maven JDBC. Here you have chance to change the name of the project package name. So you can change the package name, no problem. Okay, but if you want to keep it remain same as my package name, so no need to change. You just go and click on finish. The moment you click on finish, what happened? It will take some template information which is required for creating a Maven Quick Start project. It is going to be downloaded from Eclipse repository, right? And then it will prompting to you what are the information you have provided are correct or not, right? Okay. Say for example this information. So this information we provided at the time of creating a Maven project, right? So group ID is a com.maven project and artifact ID which is my project name is a first Maven JDBC. If these informations are correct, right, you just specify say yes. So you hit the Y from your keyboard, and if you don't want to create new Maven project with by using this information, you say no. If you say no, then it will not create a Maven project, right? But the informations are correct. So what I'll do, I'll just go and say the yes. The moment we say yes, it will create a new Maven Quick Start project in your folder. Okay, so let's start uh, explore the project information. What are the information being created by the quick start project? Okay, so these are the some folder which are by default created by the quick start project, right? So you don't bother about to create a new folder or some new anything else required for the Maven project, right? Okay. Most important folder is a src main java, right? So once you expand it, right, so it will display one package, one default package name called as a what? com.magic maven project dot first maven jdbc, right? Inside this we have say one ready uh, static whirlwind classes, right? So the class name is a what? app.java, right? So just click on app.java, so it will display the one structure. The structure has the package name, which is the default. Then inside the package we have say class called as a app. Inside the app we have say function called as a public static void main. See, the structure is remains same as a Java project, same as a Java project, but this is the what? Maven Java project. Okay. Now next very important folder called as a what? Maven dependencies. So this Maven dependencies can contain whatever dependencies you have added in your project. So right now we have say JUnit, which is by default added by the Quickstart project, right? And this particular jar file is there. The specification of JUnit jar file is there in a pom.xml file. So pom.xml file is nothing but it can contain the whatever dependencies you have added in a project for a project, right? Okay. So these informations will automatically created by the Quickstart project, right? Okay. But just go down, right? There is a dependencies element. So this is the dependencies element. Under this dependencies, we are going to add the dependencies which you required for the project, right? Okay. So what I want to do over here, I want to make the database connectivity, right? Okay. And that particular database connectivity, I'm going to make with the MySQL server, right? So so instead of the downloading the jar file, okay, and attaching the physically jar file to the project which we have done so far in a Java project, right? So here we are going to work with the dependencies of the required task, right? Okay. So what I want to do, I want to create a MySQL connectivity. So to make a MySQL server connectivity, right? So you have to add here MySQL dependencies. So now the question is, where is the dependencies? Where dependencies are available, right? So you just start your browser. In a browser, you just type the Maven repository. So the moment you type the Maven repository, so this Maven repository is nothing but the repository about the all dependencies. What are dependencies you require to add in your project? So there are so many dependencies. There are so many dependencies. What exactly I'm looking here? I'm looking MySQL server dependencies. So the moment you click on search, it will display all MySQL server dependencies. Just go down and just check how many dependencies are there. Right? There are almost the 10 pages, right? In each and every pages we have say some set of versions and some set of the dependencies for the respective project. Okay. Now here what I want to do, I want to make database connectivity with the MySQL server. So usually we are going to use type 4 unit driver. Usually we are going to use type 4 driver. And for type 4 driver, we are going to choose the MySQL connectors / j, right? So just click it. The moment you click on MySQL connector / j, it will display here list of the version. Which version dependencies you want to use. Because in a database platform, right? So we have a different database version. So for respective database version, we are going to select the related dependencies from Maven repository. So currently I'm using in my machine MySQL Server 8. So what I'll do, I'll just go and select the any 8.0 version, any 8.0 version, right? So I'm going to choose 8.2.0. Okay. So if I want to choose 8.2.0, you just go and select it. The moment you select, it will display another page, and here you will be having option for a specific project template type. So now we are going to create Maven project. So definitely we are going to choose this one. Okay. But instead of this, say for example, might be you are going to create Gradle project, might be you are going to SBT project. So for each and every project type, you will be having different dependencies, right? Okay. So here I'm going to create Maven project. So you just go and take your mouse pointer inside the box. The moment you put your mouse pointer inside the text box, it will automatically copy to the clipboard. Once it is copied, you just come into your Eclipse, right? Just position in pom.xml file where you want to inject your dependencies. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my dependencies, my school dependencies after the JUnit. So just press enter and control V. So moment you say the control V, it is going to be added whatever dependencies is there in your clipboard, right? So what dependency is going to be added? What is your group ID? The group ID is com.mysql. What is your artifact ID? The artifact ID is a MySQL connector Z, and which whatever the version you are supposed to choose. Right. So here I'm going to choose 8.2.0. So now this 8.2.0 is available in my machine. The moment you save the project, what happened? The jar file is automatically added or downloaded in my local machine. Okay, so there are two kind of the repository. One is a local repository and another is a what? Remote repository. So we are taking MySQL connector dependencies from remote repository. Remote repository is nothing but your Maven repository. So the moment you save your pom.xml file, whatever dependencies you have added in a pom.xml file is automatically downloaded in your machine, right? So it is available in C drive, user folder. Inside the user folder, we have the username, whoever currently connected to the machine, right? Inside the username, there is a .m2 folder. Inside the .m2 folder, there is a repository folder, and inside the repository folder, we have say respective repository, right? Once this is done, then just go to the app.java file, right? So the moment you click on app.java file, so definitely you are getting to the class file. So now here what you can do, you just go and import the java.sql. Once you import this package in your project, right now you are able to make a database connectivity. To make a database connectivity, I'm just going to first the load a driver. First, what I need to do, I need to load a driver, right? Okay. So before going forward, I'm just going to create my structure, right? Okay, error e dot get message. Okay. So what is your first step, guys? Your first step is to load a driver. How you can load a driver? So basically in JDBC, there are two ways to load a driver. One is you can use the class dot for name, right? And another is a what driver manager dot register driver method, right? So there are two way to register a driver. Okay. So I'm going to use class dot for name method. So class dot for name. Now here you can specify the string type as a class, right? So what exactly class for a MySQL server? So now I'm using com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver, right? So this is the class which I am going to register with my project. Okay. Once this is registered, right? So your next step is what? To create a connection string, right? So to make a connection string, what I'll do, I'll just go with a string. I'm just going to declare the variable like say db URL. So for making a database connectivity with MySQL server, so now here you have to use JDBC, JDBC colon MySQL colon double slash localhost. Why I'm using localhost? Because of my database is there in my local machine. So I use a localhost. If your database lying in somewhere else, like say out of your the machine, like say maybe on say database server, maybe on say remote server, or maybe on say cloud. So you have to specify whatever your IP address of the respective domain, right? Okay, but I'm going to use database from local machine. So I use a local host. followed by the right what exactly your port number. So now my SQL server is running on 3306 port number. Okay. Then use the database name. So slash database name. So my database name is a world database, right? Okay. And your Java platform and your MySQL platform are different. So what I have to do to make the some compatibility or synchronization between two different domain. So what I have to do, I have to use a use SSL equal to false, right? So now this is what my database URL. Now once your database URL is prepared, what you can do, you just go and create a connection object. So connection con is equal to, right? Use the driver manager dot get connection method. So in a get connection method, what we need to do, we need to supply three things. One is a database URL, second is a password username, and third is a password. Okay. So what is my first parameter? First parameter is already prepared. That is what DB URL. What is my username? My username is a root. This is a default user in a MySQL server, and my password is a password. So once this is done, right, then you can create your statement. Then you can create a statement. So to create a statement, normally we are going to use connection object. So now we have to follow the hierarchy, right? Okay, so to create a statement, just create a statement in this way. So statement stmt is equal to connection dot create statement, right? Once you create a statement, your next step is what? To execute or to construct any SQL command. Now here you can execute any SQL command once you prepare a statement. You can execute DDL command, you can execute DML command, you can execute DQL command. What is the command you want to get execute? You just prepare or construct a SQL command and you can execute it. You can execute it. Now here what I am going to do, I am going to select the data from department table, right? Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just go with the STMT, right? So now based on connection object, I'm going to create statement object. Now based on statement object, I'm going to execute a query. So to execute a query, definitely I have to use statement object because we are going to bind the SQL statement with the statement, right? So I use the statement object dot execute query. So execute query is a method accept the string parameters and it will return to you result set object, right? So what I'll do over here, I'm just going to choose this execute query method and I'm specifying the select star from DBD, right? Okay. Now this execute query function return to you result set object. So definitely at left hand side, what I have to do, I have to use a result set object. So result set result is equal to HTML. Okay. So when statement get executed, what happened? It prepared a one result set. It prepared a one result set. Okay. And once you prepare the result set, now what is your next step? Your next step is to iterate the result set object because result set can contain list of departments. List of departments. So if I want to display list of department, so what I need to do? I need to use loop. So while result dot next, right? So now what exactly next method? So next method is a method and that method is going to be check whether result set can contain record or not. If result set can contain record, then it will enter in the loop, right? So now here I am going to display the data about the result set. So now system.output.println and here I am saying say result dot get integer. Why I'm going to use get integer? Because of my first column is a department number and it is a integer data type. So what I'll do, I'll just go and select the get integer and I'm supplying the column index as a 1. So now here you have two options. Either you can supply the column index or you can supply the column name. If you are familiar with the structure of the department table, then here you can supply the column name. So for example, my column name is a department number. So I can choose a department number, or you can supply the whatever the column index. So for example, I would like to display the first column, right? Okay. Same way, what I'll do, I'll just put a one tag between the two output, okay, and just go and choose a result dot get string. Okay, so because my next column, or say the second column, is a what? Department name, and this department name in the form of varchar. So here we don't have a varchar function, but yeah, we have a getString function through which we can render the character data from specified columns, right? So I'm just going to select the second, okay, or you can see the department name, whatever you want to do. Okay, now this loop will continue unless and until your result.next method return to you false, right? So once your iteration part is done, then your next step is what? Connection dot close, right? Okay, so once connection is being closed, now you can execute the code. So just right click and run as Java application. So it will display all the records from department table, right? So what we have done so far, guys, over here, right? I'm just going to create a Maven project. To create a Maven project, you have to go to the file. In a file menu, there is an option new. Inside the new, you can choose the Maven project. The moment you select the Maven project, right, it will prompting to you where you want to create a Maven project. Okay, if you want to create in a current workspace, you just keep it remain same, right? Click the next. The moment you click the next, another splash screen will open front of you where you have to input two information. One is a group ID and second is a artifact ID. So once you keep define the group ID and whatever your artifact ID, you just click finished. And once you finish, it will again prompting to you what are the information you have provided are correct or not. Once this is done, then your next step is what? To add a MySQL connectors, right? So now here we are not going to physically attach a jar file. So instead of physically attach a jar file, right, we are going to visit the Maven repository, and from Maven repository itself, we are going to select the MySQL server dependencies. Once you choose the MySQL server dependencies, just go to the pom.xml file, position where you want to copy your Maven repository, just position it and just put it Control V, right? Once you paste your whatever dependency you have selected from the Maven repository, and the moment you save the pom.xml file, it will automatically download the jar file in your .m2 folder. .m2 folder is available in C drive, users, whoever the logged user. Inside the logged user, there is a .m2 folder. Inside the .m2 folder, there is a repository folder, and inside the repository folder, all dependencies, whatever dependencies you have downloaded so far in a Eclipse, right? So in short, there are two kind of the repository. One is a local repository and another is a what? Remote repository. So if MySQL is already downloaded, so it is not going to be overlap, right? Unless and until if new version you are supposed to take from Maven repository. Otherwise, what are the local repositories is to be considered as a to be considered in a current project, right? So I hope you understand exactly how you can create a Maven Java project and make the database connected. So thank you so much for watching my videos. Have a nice day.